All right, now we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem in right triangles, okay? And we're going to solve for hypotenuse. So we're going to start off with the right triangle, and each side has a name. The two sides that come together to make the right angle are legs. And the longest side, the side across from the right angle, is called the hypotenuse. And each side gets a letter associated with them. The one that matters the most is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always C. Okay? The legs can interchange to be A and B. Okay? So, we always need to make sure that we use the hypotenuse as C. So we need to identify which side is across from the right angle and label that C. Okay? And the Pythagorean theorem, okay, uses this. Okay? And it is just A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay? So we're going to work through this problem and do it together. I'll kind of show you how we do that on the calculator as well. Okay, so whenever we're looking at this, the first thing you want to identify is which side is what. So this side is C because it's across from the right angle, and either one of these can be A or B. For my purposes, I like A to go first and B to go second, or sorry, the smallest one to be A and the biggest one to be B. That's just how I prefer it. Now you can switch them, it doesn't matter. It will not change your answer. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You will always write out your formula to start with. And then you're going to go through and plug in the numbers that you have. Okay, so 3 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. We're still solving for C. 3 squared is 9. 6 squared is 36 equals C squared. Then we're going to add those together when they're on the same side of the equation. So 9 plus 36 is 45 equals C squared. We have not solved for C, and we need to make sure we do that. To solve for C, to undo a square, we take the square root. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have 45 equals C squared. We're going to square root both sides. Now, we haven't talked a whole lot about that, but just go with me for right now. The square root undoes the square. So all we're left with on this side is C. And then you would just type this into your calculator. Or you could leave it. If it asks you to go to the nearest tenth, you'll put in your calculator. So we'll do this 45 and hit the square root button, and we get 6.7, round to the nearest tenth, centimeters. Either one of these answers would be correct. You just need to make sure you're following directions, and if it says round to the nearest tenth, then go ahead and use your calculator. If it says leave the exact answer, you're going to leave it as a square root. Okay? Now, we're going to go down here, and we're going to work out another example. Okay? Across from the right angle is C. The other two sides are A and B. Okay? So, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to plug in 3 for A. I'm going to plug in 4 for B, and C still stays. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. I'm going to bring down my C squared. Then I'm going to add these two over here together. 9 plus 16 is 25 equals C squared. Now, we haven't solved for C, we've solved for C squared. So the opposite of undoing a square is taking the square root of both sides. So C equals, okay, the square root of 25, really what the square root is asking you is what number times itself is 25.
The answer is 5.
And Siri just told us that the answer is 5. So the square root of 25 is 5 inches. Now, because these are whole numbers, okay, we call them Pythagorean triples. Okay, so they are problems that are, right triangles that work out where each side is a whole number. So an example would be 3, 4, 5. Okay, those are just triangles where each side is a whole number. Another example would be 5, 12, 13.